Today we're going to start a new unit that's on percent, and we are first going to relate decimals, fractions, and percents. We'll begin by reviewing something we already know. We know how to change fractions to decimals. We do it just by dividing. If I have 3/5 and I want to change it to a decimal, I take 3 divided by 5. I'll have to put a decimal point and zeros, and then I just divide. I would get 0.6. Remember when you are dividing that the numerator has to go inside the box, the denominator goes outside. If I want to change a decimal to a fraction, I would use place value. So if I had 0.6, that 6 is in the tenths place. I would put 6 over 10. 6/10 will reduce by 2 to give us the fraction 3/5. If I had 0.36, that 6 is in the hundredths place. 36 over 100. I could simplify that by dividing by 4 and get 9 over 25. Now, percents are just ratios that compare to 100. We know that a ratio is a fraction. So if I have 46%, that would be 46 over 100. I could reduce that fraction by 2 and get 23 over 50. If I wanted to change 92% to a decimal, I could just move the decimal point 2 places to the left. That would give me 0.92. 92 hundredths. We are comparing to 100. Many times you will see a table like this one. It will have fractions, decimals, percents. You will have to convert from a fraction to a decimal or percent, from a decimal to a fraction and a percent, or from a percent to a decimal or a fraction. Let's start out and look at one of each of these. If we start with the fraction 3/20, we can make it a decimal by taking 3 divided by 20. We get 0.15. That's the decimal. To change that to a percent, we move the decimal point 2 places to the right. That gives us 15%. If I start out with 0.62, that's 62 hundredths. Place value is 100. 62 over 100. I could divide both of those by 2 and get 31 over 50. To change to a percent, I just move the decimal 2 places to the right. That would be 62%. If I start out with 45%, I can change it to a decimal by moving my decimal 2 places to the left. That would make 45% 0.45. To make that a fraction, I would take 0.45, that's 45 hundredths, put 45 over 100. I would divide by 5 and get 9 over 20. Or I could go directly from my percent to the fraction by saying percent means out of 100, so 45 over 100 and then reduce. Just so that you don't think that all of our percents have to be whole numbers, let's look at 8.3%. If I want to change that to a decimal, I'm going to move that decimal 2 places to the left. That means that 8.3% is the decimal 0.083. Then as a fraction, this is going to be 83 over 1,000. Now, you are going to have a chart for tomorrow that you have to fill in. Copy down this chart, fill in every fraction, decimal, and percent that is empty.